Good afternoon and welcome to City Council meeting for Tuesday, July 9th. I call the meeting to order and we'll start off first with a roll call. Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Higgin. Councillor Croson?
Present.
Councillor Dodick? Present. Councillor Middleton Hope?
Present.
Councillor Palladino?
Present.
Councillor Parker? Here. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel?
Here.
Acting Mayor Campbell?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Carlson?
Present.
And Mayor Higgin?
Present.
All present. Thank you.
All right. The City of Lethbridge acknowledges that we're gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains and pays respect to the Blackfoot people past, present, and future while respecting their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationships to the land. The City of Lethbridge is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. And we'll go to recognitions, and I'll start to my far left with our traveling Wilbury, Councillor Dodick.
Are you rolling?
Nothing? All right. Acting Mayor Campbell.
Thank you, Your Worship. Lots of stuff I wanted to talk about. Well, first off, Mr. Joel Sanchez, his team, his kids, the Lethbridge Intermediate AAA teams going to the Nationals in baseball, Little League Baseball. To Coquitlam, congratulations on that. Looking forward to getting the national championship. Also, congratulations to the 10 new recruits who graduated from Lethbridge College Polytechnique. 8 were going to go to the Lethbridge Police Services. 2 were going to Manitoba. I was fortunate to bring greetings on behalf of you, Mr. Mayor. And also, what a weekend of downtown on this past weekend. The biggest Latin festival in southern Alberta was at Galt Gardens all weekend on the Saturday. The Centric Music Festival was going on at Casa and the Festival Square. Brand new art exhibit opened at the Southern Alberta Art Gallery this weekend featuring artists from Germany, Toronto, and Edmonton. Also, a great Olympic send-off by the Lethbridge Sport Council yesterday, recognizing 11 people who have connections to Lethbridge, whether they're athletes, officials, coaches, and mission staff. And while he's not going to Paris, it was really great to catch up with legendary track coach George Giemer, who has been to no less than 6 Olympics. I think it's six Olympics, yeah. Community band, Lethbridge Community Band was supposed to play on Canada Day. During their slot in the morning, they got rain. There was too much rain, so they had to postpone it. So they're going to have a makeup on Saturday outside of the Bunka Gardens at the Japanese Gardens. It's free, 1 o'clock. I'd love for you to be there. I'll be emceeing along with my pal George Gallant, so that'll be fun. Also, I just want to give a big shout out to Police Chief Medizadeh. The guy is nonstop. You know, he shows up everywhere. Not because he has to, but because he wants to, and he wants to be there to create relationships. And it's really admirable that he does that. Saw him a whole bunch of times. I kept saying he's stalking me, but no, it's great. He's he's a benefit to the city. And those are my bouquets. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Acting Mayor. Deputy Mayor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think Acting Mayor Campbell covered most of them. Just to maybe a bit of a repeat, but I just want to do a shout out to all of our city staff and all the volunteers that made Canada Day so amazing. I know we did have some weather challenges, but we made the best of it. And by the afternoon, it cleared up and was awesome. I got to close out the night at the Lethbridge Bulls game. Sadly, we didn't win, but it was still a great game. And the fireworks on the field are something I think everyone should take in. It's a Canada Day tradition for me. And I just want to say great job to everyone who made it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
I'll certainly echo those words of appreciation for the organizers, vendors, and attendees at this year's Canada Day events, both at Galt Gardens and at Henderson Lake. It was great to see all the people out enjoying the festivities, even with some of the questionable weather on and off throughout the day. I attended the Chamber Chairs Reception and Volunteer Recognition event on June 27th. I'd like to offer congratulations to Nandi Hassan from First Choice Savings and Credit Union, who is recognized for her volunteerism. Also, thank you to Randy Helm for his work as Chamber Chair over this past year, and welcome to Paige Saracen, who is named the new Chamber Board Chair. I had the honor of attending the unveiling of the Lethbridge Police Service logo that visually represents the translations and values in Blackfoot. The logo was designed by Ina Fairbanks and will stand as a symbol of LPS's past, present, and future connection with the Blackfoot people. The piece is on display at the front entry of the police station along LPS's crest. Congratulations to the recent fire and EMS recruit graduates, and thank you for your service to our community. And congratulations to Lethbridge Public Library on the opening and naming of its new outdoor space. I certainly encourage everyone to take an opportunity to get over to the main branch and check it out and spend some time there. And finally, a reminder that Downtown Wednesday Farmers Market is on now until September 4th, that the Upside Down concert series has started up again outside CASA, and that Lethbridge Shakespeare Performance Society opened 12th night as well this past week. So certainly opportunities throughout the summer to take that in, and a host of opportunities to get out and about over the summer throughout the city. Thank you.
All right, Councillor Middleton-Hope.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just in addition to those commented on previously by other council members, myself and Councillor Crowson attended the Fort Macleod 150th anniversary event that was hosted out in Fort Macleod. It was great. There were folks that came from all over southern Alberta who had roots that tied them to Fort Macleod. They had a whole weekend of festivities, and I think everyone had just a fantastic time. The other one was, I was also with Councillor Crowson when we went out to Coaldale for the unveiling of the new rec centre. And the mayor. Well, yes, he was there too. We went to the Coaldale Rec Centre. Coaldale has gone all in with a new rec centre, and it is going to serve their community very well. That little town that is becoming a city, I think, in the not too distant future, and they are certainly making a play for it. So congratulations to the town of Coaldale and the town of Fort Macleod on their activities over the course of the last 2 weeks. That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. So much has already been covered, but I just want to add congratulations to Marcy Stickle. She is the CEO of LA Chefs and Sky Table Event Group, and she won an Alberta Chamber Award for Female Entrepreneur. And so if you see Marcy around, make sure you congratulate her. This is a huge provincial award for her, and well deserved.
Councillor Palladino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to extend a shout out to Brian Nimogene and his team out at Camp Carmangay. This is a small nonprofit organization that recognizes that a troubled kid will become a troubled youth and then eventually a troubled adult without guidance and positive lifestyle choices. Initially designed for disadvantaged and high-risk kids in the form of a summer camp, no one is turned away. The ranch includes a barn, event hall, bunkhouses, and is located just outside the village of Carmangay, 60 miles north of Lethbridge. Daily activities include hiking trails, horseback riding, float trips on the Little Bow, crafts, and evening campfires for storytelling. Simply a fun place for a kid to be just a kid. For more information, see their website at campcarmangay.ca.
Thank you. Councillor Parker.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Well, most everything has been said, but I did want to touch base a little bit on the Olympics. This is something else to have so many leave from our community. And the athletes, I do want to say, point out the athletes that will be going. Casey Bosch, 3-on-3 basketball. Paige Crozen, 3-on-3 basketball. Krista Degucci is judo. Kelly Degucci in judo. Paulo Hess swimming. Sarah Orban track cycling. And then the other officials, Michael Berwagen, soccer official, John Koopmans, broadcast engineer, Ryan Summer, mission staff, Lawrence Stanky, athletics and coach, and Mike Tamura, judo and sport director. It's absolutely amazing to have these individuals going from a community our size to represent us and represent Canada at the Olympics. So a huge shout out to them. Also, I wanted to give thanks to my colleagues, my acting and deputy, and I'm sorry, during the summertime, I'm away here and there and everywhere, and I was up at some Stampede events here this last week, some networking events, and I wanted to thank you for the work that was done while I was away and filling in for the times that I was away, so thank you very much for that. Speaking to that, there was some great conversations, continuing our advocacy efforts, and we'll have more to share a little later regarding some of that work that was done during Stampede. But I'd remiss if I did not add in one more thing. We had Councillor Parker's son. Councillor Parker's son was playing with Team Alberta in the final at the U16 Western Challenge in Regina. And I'll tell you what, they played against a team that hasn't lost in about 15, 16 years and did absolutely amazing to get to that point, playing on their home turf, and ended up getting the Alberta Player of the Game. And so you got the Player of the Game for offense, and to Owen Parker, a huge shout out. And of course, I was surprised that Councillor Parker didn't want to hop in and give his son a shout out, but huge shout out to him and for the work. And now he's going to be going out to, come on, Councillor Parker, you've got to say what he's doing. So he's...
This isn't about us, but it is exciting. I just found out my other son is playing for the U19 rugby team. So he's going to be one of the youngest players at the Canadian Championships. So
17 years old, playing
Halifax,
with
U19s.
U19.
So the bad part is he'll be going out there as a team, but he won't be having any drinks with the teammates. So which is not a bad thing.
Which will be the best player on the team. There we go.
Right.
But thank you very much, and a huge shout out to him. Good job. All right. And with that, we will move to the adoption of the agenda. So from Acting Mayor Campbell, be it resolved that the agenda of the regular meeting of City Council on July 9th, 2024 be adopted as presented. Are there any changes, Madam City Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor Higgin. There is one addition to the agenda today, and that's to Section 14, Confidential Reports. There is a verbal update on the Housing Accelerator Fund, so that will be numbered 14.6. And again, it's the Housing Accelerator Fund update. Thank you. And I have one for consent, but I'll wait till consent, or pulling off the consent.
Excellent. Okay, Acting Mayor Campbell.
As amended, I'll call for the vote.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that passes. Next, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Oh, my goodness. All right. So we do see these 5. All right. Consent agenda, with my colleague's permission, I will not read out all 5 pages. It is posted online as well as on the screen. We'll be scrolling from Deputy Mayor Carlson. I can just highlight that there was one item that was pulled off the agenda. Actually, I'll turn on to our city clerk for update on that prior to asking for a vote.
Sure, Mayor Hagan. If council so desires, they can consider pulling off 8 or 4.3.8, and that's government relations and advocacy update. There's some recent verbal updates that some members of council and the city manager would like to give. And 4.3.8, government relations and advocacy update. And there's also a confidential component to that, is 14.5 with the same title. So that would go to 8.1.2 under committee submissions. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
With that, anybody else, any changes? Seeing none, to Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Went through everything. It looks fairly straightforward to me. I did have one question, if I may, through you to, I'm assuming city manager or designate on this one. I'm sorry, I should have given you a heads up on this, but it just triggered this morning when I was walking into the building and saw the flagpoles. 4.3.4, we're changing our land acknowledgement statement. And we have the old one permanently attached to the flagpoles. I'm just wondering, it's the only, it caught me by surprise too when I walked in this morning. I was reading everything, and I'm wondering, do we have a plan to change that? Or do we now? Now that I've seen it.
Through the mayor, I just learned about that right now, so I'm not honestly sure, but I can find out and get back to you, Councillor.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Other than that, I have nothing else unless my colleagues have questions. I will call for the vote.
No questions?
Oh, Mr. Mayor.
Well, what would you like?
While I have the microphone on, Councillor Parker got a lot of recognition during the bouquets.
Right?
I think yes.
His offspring.
But I was going to say Mandy Parker, who I think the good genetics come from, is in the audience as well for sorry, for Owen Engage. And I just wanted to say, hi, Mandy, I saw you there. With that, I'll call for the vote.
All right. Question's been called. All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. Thank you. All right, from consent agenda pull-up was a recommendation of Governance Standing Policy Committee regarding Team Lethbridge from Councillor Crozan, Chair of Governance Standing Policy Committee. 8.1.1, be resolved the City Council accept the Team Lethbridge presentation for information and confirm Mayor Blaine Higgin and Councillor Schmidt-Rempel as the Lethbridge City Council members for this year's Team Lethbridge. And questions, I will just start off with a question that, as I was watching the governance meeting, I just wanted to be sure that it was, opportunity was out there, and anybody that wanted to have the opportunity to either go in addition to us or in replacement of someone, if that's but wanted to make sure that everyone had that opportunity, and if there's any interest, that it would just have around for discussion. And so I'll open that up for questions, and Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just because I'm not sure everyone saw the possibility of attending Team Lethbridge, I thought we pull this off consent agenda and bring some attention to it. My question is this, and I don't think maybe some of us who have been on EDL longer can answer this. In past, even though I haven't been a part of EDL or even a member, a paying member of Team Lethbridge, I used my own travel budget to go up to attend because I found it somewhat valuable. Is that a possibility, or do we, because I'm sure they've got buses booked and everything booked. I don't want to just say, yeah, I decide I want to go and have poor Trevor and his team say, yeah, you will get a trailer on the back or something.
With what I know, and I've not attended all the sessions, and Councillor Schmidt-Rempel may be able to add to this, is that as a paid member, as City of Lethbridge, there are three positions that are sent up. It's a city manager, is usually one from administration, and then or designate. Oh yeah, absolutely. He's the one going this time, but yes, city manager or his designate, and then usually it is one or two councillors that go up, and I don't think they get designates. So three individuals, and is that correct? From what? Yeah. So there's three that go up, but that is absolutely right. That you have a travel budget that can be used for that. If there's an additional member that would like to go, I'm sure that could be reached out to Mr. Lewington, and probably advantageous to have another member
just
of council.
If anyone wanted, because we talked about it, I think it was at governance, where I think we said, oh, but you can always use your own travel budget to go, et cetera. And then I went, oh, but maybe they've got everything booked, and that would be weird.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask.
They prep everything there as well, as far as with security, et cetera. I know that over the past, they have that prepared. So when you show up, it's actually very seamless. They've already done background checks and making sure that you're safe to enter said building. So, but yes, that's done in advance. And so, anybody else? All right. Are there no further questions? All right. Debate. Any debate on that? If not, we do have those that are designated, myself and Councillor Schmidt-Rempel, to go. And with that, if there's no further questions, I'll turn it to Councillor Crozan.
I can't think there's anything more to be said, so I'll call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. All right, the next one is from Councillor Crowson, Chair of Governance Standing Policy Committee. Recommendation of Governance Standing Policy Committee, Government Relations and Advocacy Update. Be it resolved that. All right. Okay. To be it resolved that City Council approve the recommendation to hold a closed workshop for all members of City Council on July 25th, 2024 at 12:30 p.m. as part of the meeting of the Governance Standing Policy Committee to coordinate and prepare for upcoming council advocacy opportunities for the remainder of 2024. And further be resolved that City Council direct administration to proceed with the confidential direction provided in the closed session, and further be resolved that City Council direct that the closed meeting documents with respect to the government relations and advocacy update remain confidential pursuant to sections 21, harmful to intergovernmental relations, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. To open up for any questions.
And confidential updates. So the public would be done now.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, I won't give I guess I can wait for debate on that. So I'll give Councillor Crowson the opportunity to open.
It's kind of weird the way it is on the agendas because we have people who have the updates. So we actually, I guess we'll just ask, Mr. City Manager, do you have any updates? We have to make it into a question at this point.
Through the mayor, I was actually going to defer to the mayor to speak first if he wishes, and then I'll.
I could do that. Thank you very much. As was mentioned in at the beginning of the meeting, we had the opportunity, Mr. City Manager, myself, to really connect with all of the ministries and as well as other MLAs, provincial and federal, that are there, as well as other advocacy folks that work together with us. And so it was pretty packed. As I've counted 14 different events and / meetings that I attended in those 4.5 days up there. But it was bringing our message again forward. We try to keep it as much of networking as possible, and not there's a lot of people usually when you're in chatting with these different ministers to say, well, what about this and what about that? It's more of that FaceTime with them, connect. They're out here a couple months ago. But we wanted to wait till Whoop Up Days Stampede was done before sending out an invitation for Whoop Up Days. And so we had the opportunity to just chat with other ministers while we were up there and do the invitation to come down to Lethbridge, which would give us a better opportunity to chat about some of our strategies and our advocacy work that we have going forward. With that, Mr. Brierley, anything else that you have to add?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only other thing I would add was the Saturday, the discussions with the mid-sized cities and a number of representatives from across the mid-sized cities. So a day full of meetings and a lot of very good discussions with some of our municipal colleagues across the province on common themes, challenges, and opportunities that we're seeing, and how we can work together as one voice for the mid-sized cities. So very valuable discussions, and the rest, Mr. Mayor, you've covered with the provincial officials, both elected and administrative. Again, some great conversations.
With that, Councillor Crowson.
I'm read. Just one follow-up question in public, because you've had these meetings and we do have a plan moving ahead. The plan will be amended moving ahead based on the conversations that have been had, the new information that came from Stampede. This is an ongoing advocacy plan that is routinely updated, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that you're both in agreement. That makes me even happier. And so the public will know that we're moving ahead. And I'll just jump in. I was talking to the city clerk because this will be tying in with 14.5. The motion that was read by the mayor will be tabled if everybody's in agreement, and we'll deal with it all with 14.5 as one direct motion there.
Is everyone fine with that? All right, we'll move that and deal with it all together. All right, so that is tabled, and we'll move on to Encampment Strategy Council update from Councillor Middleton Hope. Be it resolved the City Council receive the Encampment Strategy Report as information. Now, I could ask my colleagues, is there any update that you want to hear? I know that it's been posted public and online. I know that we do have the team here, Mr. Malcolm and others. I don't know if there's anything that did you want to have highlights on that, or you've had the opportunity to go through? You think it's good? Well, highlights. Oh, highlights might be good. All right. So, Mr. Malcolm and your team, yeah, just some highlights on what has already been posted out.
Canada plays Argentina tonight in Copa America. It's the first time they've made it to the semifinal in any major tournament, so had to rep an Alberta-born player, not Alberta-born, Alberta-raised player, Alphonso Davies. So thank you. Our update included in text in the package. In terms of highlights, I just want to recognize we're joined by all the people that make it happen out there, boots on the ground, including our new partnership that we've highlighted in this document with The Watch, which we'll be launching with the media shortly after this. Certainly thrilled to have them be part of our efforts out there and building up more collaboration. And then also our outreach team that is now, we have one member, Richard Demuth, is in position, and our other specialist will start next Wednesday. And then we will be now offering in-house outreach support as part of our encampment response, which we saw as a value add that we shared with you in May. The only other update two updates I will share is that we have been challenged with staffing over the last few months, as we had one of our encampment support specialists take a role within emergency management with the city. So that was a great opportunity for him. And I just want to give a shout out to Sean Middleton, who has been handling things almost entirely solo, barring always going out with somebody from the team supporting him. But he's done a great job in making sure that the level of service was maintained through these staffing changes. The only thing that I think is of note from the update in terms of the actual encampment response out there is that we are seeing behaviors change. Structures are becoming more dynamic in terms of the materials. The locations are becoming more entrenched in the river valley into more difficult locations, and the behaviors of the individuals are a little bit more dynamic for our team to deal with. All of that to say, all safety precautions are being taken into consideration. Our support with LPS at all encampment takedowns, and having the watch as well as outreach as part of our coordinated system are going to make sure that our staff stay safe out there. If there's questions about that specific, those behaviors, I will bring up Mr. Middleton to speak to them. But if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer those myself or defer to the team.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I do have questions. All right, Councillor Carlson to start.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Malcolm, for the highlights. It may not be exactly germane to the report, but it sort of touches on the water donations with the Interfaith Food Bank. And I had a couple questions over the weekend of how we're planning to deal with the heat for our unhoused population. I know it's not exactly the same thing. Wondering if you can comment on one of the comments I got. I should throw a shout out to Councillor Palladino, who brought in those water fountains attached to the hydrants. They have been invaluable, not just to the unhoused, but dog walkers. Everyone has just been loving them. So I'm just wondering if there's any update on how we're dealing with the heat for some of the folks in our community that don't have housing.
Yeah, so specifically tied to our encampment response and our outreach team did partner with a number of community providers, the two food banks in particular taking lead, but I think there's 9 different organizations. So we've offered through our encampment response up to $5,000 matching to all water donations, either financial or actual bottles of water. And that's being led by the Interfaith Food Bank. So they have lots of room and the ability to store and track donations. So they're doing that for us, and then they will let us know. So then our encampment outreach, as well as any outreach in the community, are able to go stop in there and pick up those water supplies at any time and distribute them to the vulnerable in the population. So that effort, in addition to those water fountains, is making sure that everyone has access to water. And then all through our different partnerships with different social agencies, they're making obviously their spaces available based on the services that the individuals in the community are willing or needing to go and partake in.
Thank you for that follow-up question to that, not really about the water, but lack of water triggered it. Mr. Malcolm, you said that because we're dealing with the encampment issues and we're moving people out, they're gravitating to the river valley. We've got a fire ban in the river valley right now. I'm just wondering if you or anyone on the team, how are we going to try and manage that? Because some of these folks start fires. When you said that we've got some entrenched encampments in the river valley, that really kind of worried me. How are we dealing with that?
So I will start to answer, and then I'll pull up Mr. Middleton to speak to it. So we do not have entrenched encampments. Again, one of the main goal of our encampment response is to prevent entrenchment. So the community continues to report incidences of encampments in the river valley, and we are responding to them. We knew that the encampment response would disperse the population into other areas, and it's a different challenge, but we continue to show up to those encampments just like we were anything top of bank. So in terms of the dynamic in the actual river valley, I'll see if Mr. Middleton can come up and speak to what they're seeing out there. And an important piece is we do collaborate with our fire and EMS as well, so they are aware of our efforts.
Good afternoon. So when we do the initial triage for an encampment that does have evidence of fire debris in the river bottom, we always give some fire education, as well as we ask if we can remove any possible hazards like propane tanks as well. And usually people are fairly willing to give that stuff up. As well as we attempt to do preventative checks in some of the areas that we do see a lot of unhoused people go. We have yet to find too many people having these issues, but it's been fairly good.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Mayor Higgin. Thank you, Mr. Malcolm, for the information. You have one comment in the report that there's an increase in the number of triage encampments with a minor present. Large increase? Like what sort of increase are we seeing there? What are we reporting on them? I see that, Children and Family Services is involved. What's the issues we're dealing with in that regard?
So there's not a ton of detail we can give, being mindful of FOIP and different privacy rules. When we talk about a large increase, we're talking about going from 0 or very few to a few. And so relatively, it's a large increase, but any minor in an encampment is certainly a challenging situation. And I have to give a lot of credit to our team who have built a relationship with the appropriate resources to make those connections when that type of situation comes up. And that just speaks to the fact that, again, these encampments in a variety of different ways are not an appropriate way for many to take shelter, youth in particular. And so our team has been dealing with that and making those appropriate connections when necessary.
The other question overall, and again, I know it's not your group's responsibility, but if you could give sort of a qualitative response to this, are we seeing with our encampment response a decrease in the number of unhoused people, or are we just simply seeing people being moved around the community?
I am going to see if Sean will come and speak to that. I think the numbers, so actually I was thinking about maybe we should have provided a year-to-year comparison, but actually we became operational mid-June last year. So this report actually brings us to 1 full year of operations. So we'll start to be able to track comparative in terms of responses. In terms of the number of individuals in the community, I will let Sean and potentially Ms. Motts come speak to what we're seeing in terms of our reports.
We will be doing a updated point-in-time count in the fall to get an accurate number of how many individuals are unhoused on the streets. As for my experience, I do believe that we are seeing more. I don't have a number to give you, but I do see a lot of people I don't recognize and meet for the first time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Malcolm. Thank you, Mayor Higgin.
I will just add that we are undertaking another point-in-time count this October, which will give us a relative comparable to what was done in 2022, which will give us kind of our best apples-to-apples comparison of the last couple of years.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And Councillor Crows, if I could just add to that as well, and I'm sure Mr. Malcolm has heard the same thing, that up at one of the meetings, Mid-City Mayors that we were at, the conversation, especially in Medicine Hat and Red Deer, the counts have been going up in all locations. It's not, we hear so often, they're trucking in from one other area or trucking out from here or moving in here or people are coming. It's happening all over. It's just where the services are, and it's the economy and what's happening. So, and I'm sure Mr. Malcolm has heard that time and time again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm, for the report, and to your team for all the hard work that's been going into this. Have we been working with the province with regards to a navigation and support center, such as what they're seeing in Calgary and Edmonton?
So we actually, Ms. Kleisinger and myself, attended a meeting last week with Lethbridge Housing Authority, Blood Department of Health, and the Government of Alberta, and that topic was brought up. The City of Calgary is just operationalizing their hub, which came after success in Edmonton. We did put on the table that we would certainly be interested in the conversation, as we would see it as the next point of evolution with our encampment response. So I think conversations are coming. I do know that Lethbridge Housing Authority and Blood Tribe Department of Health are doing their best to plan for space in the shelter expansion that might help facilitate that opportunity in the future. But again, right now, all very early discussion, and my hope is that now that once the Government of Alberta gets the navigation hub in Calgary up and running, they will turn their attention to the next largest center.
So is this something that council should be adding to its advocacy plan?
I will look to Ms. Kleisinger to see if she has any thoughts on that from our meeting, but I do think it's something that we should be top of mind of.
So we should be adding, I see you nodding, we should be adding this to our advocacy?
I would say we just had one meeting, and so I think that probably we can discuss internally and with Mr. Gauthier and discuss how we can bring it back to council to see it to be added.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
And, wow, in addition to that, one of the discussions again this past week up at Stampede was exactly around what Mr. Malcolm has mentioned. Ms. James is up there as well and was talking about the new facility and the expansion and the opportunity to have that, because the two ministries that really deal a lot with these navigation centers did have chats with them, and that is the plan, is once this is rolled out in Calgary, so it fits in line with moving here as per capita. We're right up there as well, so great question. Councillor Dodick.
Yes, thank you. In your report, you indicated that there has been an increase in verbal aggression and by the occupants of the encampments, both towards the public as well as to the members of the team that deal with the encampments. When there is aggressive behavior, are any charges being laid? Or are we just saying, well, look, they're being verbally aggressive, we'll report it to the police, and then nothing is done about it other than it's provided to us in a report?
So typically when our team goes out for the first triage, we are minimal in our interactions, especially if it's escalating. We then bring in LPS to support us in those efforts. So unfortunately, LPS couldn't be here today. Surprised to me that Sergeant Dara is actually allowed holidays, so he took those. But I will bring up Sean Middleton to speak to how they deal with individuals who are verbally abusive to the team or LPS.
I guess part of that, the question will be, since it's been June to June, it's been a year, do you have any idea how many charges have been laid as a result of aggressive behavior, whether it's assaultive or assaultive and battery behavior, directly as a result of occupants in the encampments?
I don't have that data. We could certainly try to get that for the next update, but I'll see if Sean wants to come up and speak to it.
So when a complaint is put into 311 that does reference verbal violence, they are instructed to also call the police complaint line. So I can't really speak to what happens after that fact because I'm not included. When we do go triage and someone's verbally aggressive to us, we'll back off. We'll still provide them with the notice and everything we need to do, but we will back off and let LPS know. And then during the cleanup, typically when LPS is present, we don't really experience a lot of verbal aggression. So to my knowledge, there has not been any charges laid during a cleanup.
Okay, so my final question is, I understand about privacy and protection and things of that nature. How do we track like you said, you recognize some of the individuals and then you see new ones and things like that. When you track them, I take it IDs are not requested and there is no comprehensive list of the people that might be actually involved in these encampments.
So I do know that Sergeant Dara has been working with his team to request names from individuals in occupied encampments. So from their end, I'm not sure. I think they attach them to a case number, but from us, we do not know.
Okay, the reason I mention that is because the encampments strategy, part of it is dealt with. We do have bylaws that actually prohibit it, which remain unchallenged at this point in time, which would then allow us the opportunity in one manner of being able to track names. But I suspect that'll be a question I'll have the LPS next time they show up to talk about this. Thank you.
Councillor Campbell.
Sure. I don't know if it's a fair question to ask because the encampment strategy has only been going on for a year, but I just wonder about the boots on the ground, people that are involved on a regular basis and what their mental health is, over the course of a year and, retention and if you can address that in any way, are we giving them all of the help that they need, like a place to cool down or whatever?
Yeah, so boots on the ground is just myself for now. So
how are your boots?
Good. So we do monthly check-ins with our psychological help team. I don't remember the exact title, but the door's always open for her if I do need to reach out with her, and she's helped connect me with supports before. So I would say that the city's doing a very adequate job of meeting those needs.
Good. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I see no further questions. So, Councillor Middleton Hope, to open debate, be it resolved, the City Council receive the encampment strategy report as information.
That's the opening.
That's the opening. All right.
There you go.
I would just like to add, if I could, a huge shout out to the encampment response team, the person. Thank you so much, Mr. Middleton, for the work that you're doing. And when we talk about those folks being aggressive, I hear how soft-spoken you are. I can't imagine anyone want to be aggressive with you, so it's a positive thing. And then also to the team that we have, the watch team, and for the work that you all do. Working together and collaboratively is definitely of importance. And so, as well, Mr. Malcolm, your team, and all of you that are sitting here for the work that's been done, because it's something that other communities notice, and they've mentioned that to me. I've got that what have you done to, with your encampments and how is that moving along? So I appreciate that update. And if anyone has the opportunity, my colleagues, to do a walk along with the watch sometime, I would highly recommend it. Get your boots out. I think it's 10, 12 clicks over 8 hours. I think you put on. It's just you're walking continually. And so a huge shout out to you and the work that you folks do. Any further questions or no? So back to you, Councillor Middleton Hope.
No further debate. Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you. I'm not sure if we have any inquiries for admin that have not been sent in already. Any verbals to come back at a later time? I don't see any there. City Council updates. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
So on June 26, Councillors Crowson, Middleton, Hope and I attended the Summer Alberta Municipalities Summer Caucus in Stirling. We participated in sessions on municipal water conservation, provincial infrastructure funding, asset model review on regulated properties, local election and municipal governance changes, and what Alberta Municipalities is doing in the areas of advocacy. This also gave us an opportunity to catch up with some of our colleagues from other municipalities throughout the province. And then just another update, and from the June Lethbridge Police Commission meeting, there's some highlights on that. Of course, reminder that all agenda packages are available on the Police Commission website, and members of the council and public are welcome to attend commission meetings. Out of this last month's meeting, another successful downtown enforcement project was conducted in May with multiple arrests by the Downtown Policing Unit, Crime Suppression Team, and Property Crimes Unit. 4 community peace officers graduated on May 24th from the CPO induction program in Lac La Biche. 5 weeks of classroom instruction will follow, and these new CPOs will be assigned field training officers for a period of 16 weeks. Upon successful completion, they will be deemed ready to perform on their own. The recruiting unit finalized the last of applications for the July 2024 class. 11 individuals have been offered employment and another 4 were being processed. We saw an overall decrease in crime violations in the first quarter of this year, and the Commission also received the Lethbridge Police Service Master Plan. And that's all I've got for updates.
Thank you very much, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel, for that update. Any further updates? All right. Seeing none, can I have a motion to go in closed? Thank you, Councillor Parker. All in favor? All right, we'll go in closed.
Test, test, test.
Test, test, test.
All right, we'll move along here with our confidential reports. 14.1. I have a resolution from Councillor Parker. Be it resolved that City Council approve the amendments proposed by Turnkey Properties Limited to the purchase agreement for the remainder of 26.91 hectares, 66.49 acres, being 8.21 hectares, 20.28 acres, more or less, in the Crossing subdivision with the following terms: closing date amended from December 31st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027. An average of a minimum of 2.02 hectares, 5 acres, to be purchased each year from 2024 to 2027, and a deposit of 5% of the balance owing to be provided each year that less than an average of 5 acres per year is purchased, which will be credited to the balance owing. Further be resolved, the City Council direct that the closed meeting presentations, reports, documents, and discussions with respect to the land development matter remain confidential pursuant to Section 16, harmful to business interests of a third party, 23, local public body confidences, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Councillor Parker. I do have questions. Oh, no, I don't have questions. Go ahead.
I would just call the question, Mr. Mayor.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. All right. 14.2 from Councillor Croson, closed meeting community concerns of verbal. Be it resolved that City Council direct administration to proceed with the confidential direction provided in closed session, and further be resolved that City Council direct the closed meeting discussions with respect to the community concerns verbal remain confidential pursuant to Section 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act. Councillor Croson.
In light of the fact that Councillor Dodick is back, this is self-explanatory. Please vote for it. Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? All right. All right. And from Councillor Croson, closed meeting, board, commission, and committee matter. Be it resolved that City Council direct administration proceed with the confidential direction provided in closed session, and further be resolved that City Council direct that the closed meeting discussions with respect to board, commission, and committee matter verbal remain confidential pursuant to Section 21, harmful to intergovernmental relations, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act. Councillor Croson.
Please vote for this. I'll call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Your plea worked. Thank you. All right, from Councillor Dodick, closed meeting lease opportunity. Be it resolved, the City Council approve the term sheet between the City of Lethbridge and the tenant as provided in the confidential attachment for a portion of the second floor of the Park and Ride, and authorize the City Manager to execute a lease agreement incorporating the terms from the term sheet and such other terms as the City Manager finds agreeable. Further be resolved that City Council direct that the closed meeting reports documents, and discussion with respect to the lease opportunity remain confidential pursuant to Section 23, Local Public Body Confidences, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act. Councillor Dodick.
Question.
Question McCall. All in favor? That's unanimous. And 8.1.2 from Councillor Croson, Chair of Governance Standing Policy Committee. Recommendation of Governance Standing Policy Committee, Government Relations and Advocacy Update. Be it resolved that. Okay, we'll cross out some of that. Be it resolved that City Council approve the recommendations to hold a closed workshop for all members of City Council at the July 25th, 2024. Members at the July 25th, 2024 at 12:30 p.m. as part of the meeting of the Governance Standing Policy Committee to coordinate and prepare for upcoming council advocacy opportunities for the remainder of 2024. And further be resolved that City Council direct administration to proceed with the confidential direction provided in the closed session. And further be resolved that City Council directed the closed meeting documents with respect to the government relations and advocacy update remain confidential pursuant to Section 21, harmful to intergovernmental relations, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act. Councillor Croson.
I just hope all members of council will put that July 25th at 12:30 into their calendars if it's not there already. It would be nice to see as many people as possible. It's not on the resolution, but I will work with the city clerk's department probably to provide you lunch because, we'll try to make sure you're there. So we will feed you just to give you another reason for coming, never mind the work that we're doing. And I'll call the question.
Question is called. All in favor? All right. And I have a resolution here from Councillor Parker, a Housing Accelerator Fund update. Be it resolved that City Council directed the closed meeting discussion with respect to the Housing Accelerator Fund update verbal remain confidential pursuant to Sections 21, harmful to intergovernmental relations, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information Protection of Privacy Act. Councillor Parker.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that... Oh, any opposed? Oh, sorry, opposed. Wait, we've got Councillor Croson, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel, and Councillor Carlson. All right.
And then there's just this.
All right, and I have a resolution, 15.1. It is a notice of motion, actually, from Councillor Schmidt-Rempel. It is up on the screen. So does anybody want me to read this, or are they able to? Are they able to read? It'll come to the July 25th meeting, 23rd meeting, I'm sorry. All right, so it's a review of workload expectations and resourcing for elected officials. So with that, we do not need to have a vote on that, correct? Because the notice of motions. All right, with that, we are adjourned.